What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Not even an at-home edition, at my parents' house, my childhood home edition. Bringing my son here for the week because, long story, my wife's a teacher. Her school starts next week. His daycare picks back up the week after, so my parents are going to watch him for the week. Anyway, I am back home just for a quick day to drop him off, but I'd be remiss if I wasn't going to talk about the dominant defensive performance that the Bears put up against the Miami Dolphins in joint practice today. So we'll break that all down. We'll talk about the offense, talk about the defense, catch you guys up on the injury notes, and then some other items as well. Kevin Warren spoke briefly about the stadium. George McCaskey had a couple comments, and also the plan for the preseason opener. Put a YouTube short out this morning. Caleb Williams and most starters will not play. I'll give some thoughts on that as well. But listen, whether we're in the studio, whether we're in my home office studio, whether I'm at my parents' house, not the best setup here. Don't have my equipment, but we're making do. This is what we do, baby. So hit that subscribe button. We cover the Bears every single day, multiple videos per day, just for you. Watch Party Sunday. Going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let's start with the offense because the defense dominated the day. We'll get to that. But the offense, it's kind of the same story, I would say, for the most part. Like early on in camp was ugly, then it picked up, and I'd say it's kind of just been this up and down thing the last several days. And I would say throughout camp, if you added it all up, it's definitely progressed. But like Ben Johnson said, that they're not where they need to be. He said it on Hogan Johns. We're not ready for prime time. Now, they have a month. The opener is a month away, but it'll be here before we know it. Let's start with the good. The play of the day. Caleb Williams, 70-yard touchdown pass to Olamide Zaccheaus, about 35, 40 yards in the air. Zaccheaus made a man miss and took it the rest of the way. Olamide Zaccheaus, and we're going to have to talk more about this guy, is having a hell of a camp. I think he probably leads the first team offense in catches from Caleb. I would guess, and the Bears have all this data, obviously. I don't have access to every single rep and have it all tracked, have a general idea. I think Zaccheaus has gotten the most catches in this camp. I mean, you're looking at a potential steal of a signing. Isn't it the vet minimum or just more than that? He was a nice safety blanket for Jaden Daniels last year. He fits in really well with what Ben Johnson wants to do with his ability to make things happen with the ball in his hands after the catch. He's just good. Runs good routes, gets open, makes things happen. Did have a drop at one point in practice today, but he has made plays consistently every single day. And Caleb's going to him a lot. So they've built a nice little rapport, which is nice to see. I think Luther Burden clearly has a higher ceiling, and he's flashed since he's returned. But Zaccheaus, they trust Zaccheaus, and Caleb does for sure. So he's going to be playing a lot, I think. So that was the play of the day. That happened literally 3 or 4 plays after the first team period drill. The first play, Caleb got picked off. Just air mails Cole Kmet on a simple like drag route. It's just like, what are you doing? I don't know what happened there. Seems like once a day he just kind of has a bad miss, and hopefully that gets cleaned up. We know he doesn't throw a ton of picks. I'm actually okay if he throws more because he needs to take more chances and make take less sacks. But that shouldn't mean you overthrow like a 10-yard drag route by 4 yards. I mean, that just shouldn't happen. So that was pretty ugly. Now, that was his only interception of the day. Tua Tagovailoa threw 3. So we'll get to that side of it in a second. But just up and down again, I would say. Some good moments today, but into practice situation, 2 red zone, or I can't remember if it was red zone or 2-minute. Failed to score on either of those. I think one, they got a pass interference call in the end zone, but didn't end up getting a touchdown. So, mixed bag a little bit there. There was back-to-back false starts at one point, so the procedural stuff is still a work in progress. Again, and I think this is one of those where you kind of just have to trust what Ben Johnson's saying. He's being honest. He's like, yeah, we're not ready for prime time. We've gotten a lot better. We've grown, but we're not close to being where we need to be. So I, for one, appreciate the honesty. And I think the reality is this offense and this system is very difficult and it takes time. It didn't really click until midway through that 2022 season for Jared Goff. And that's really when the Lions took off. They won 8 out of 10 that year to finish above 500, won 12 games the next year, then last year won 15 games and had 70 touchdowns offensively. So I know Bears fans don't want to hear it. I don't necessarily want to hear it or be patient myself, but I think we're just going to have to be patient. I think, especially early in the year, I'm not saying it's going to be ugly, and I think Ben will do a good job with game prep for specific opponents to kind of lean into things that should work. But this is not going to fire on all cylinders from day one, I don't think. I think this is going to take some time. Doesn't mean it's going to be a disaster, but if we think that Caleb's going to go win the MVP in September, I would say that is pretty unlikely at this point. So some patience is required, even if that is frustrating. Now, the left tackle competition, a couple of other offensive notes here, is ongoing. Braxton, Ozzie continue to rotate there. I think Ozzie got the initial first team reps there today. Late in the practice, Theo Benedet got some reps with the ones, and you've seen that a couple times now. So I don't know if he's a threat to start, but I do think he's making a case to make this team, and he's certainly taken advantage of the reps available with Karan Amagaji currently injured. Cole Kmet had a couple of catches today. That was good. Colston Loveland caught 2 touchdowns from Tyson Bagent today, including a 50-yard score. I haven't seen video of that one yet, so I'm not sure how many yards in the air that was or if it was a lot of yards after the catch, but Loveland is making plays every day. Tyson's having a good camp. He's actually going to start the preseason game. More on that in a second. Kyle Monangai got some reps with the ones. Roshan Johnson out still today. He banged up his foot in that physical practice on Tuesday. Unclear how long he's going to be out, but those are some of the offensive notes overall in this practice. Okay, defense. This was the story of practice. The defense dominated. So much so, this is a little tongue in cheek, but the Dolphins got so frustrated today, they started fighting with each other, not with the Bears. I mean, there were a couple skirmishes between the two teams, but the Bears won this practice overall. There's no question about it. They picked off Tua 3 times. Tremaine Edmonds had what likely would have been a pick six in a red zone situation. Kevin Byard picked off Tua on a nice deflection from Nashawn Wright. Who's having a good camp, played well again today. Brisker had an interception as well. I think it was on Tua's second or third pass in team period, so both quarterbacks threw one pretty early there. Just the defense flying around, man. Physicality, they're hitting hard out there, which frustrated Miami. Tyreek Stevenson blew up a screen play for Jalen Waddle. They tried to get one of their linemen out on the edge to block. Might have been Larry Borum, actually. Tyreek got past him and just blew up Jalen Waddle, who was slow to get up. There was a scuffle later that Stevenson was involved in. No surprise. He's always in the mix, which I like for the most part, but not if it leads to a penalty. So not sure if it got to that point, but he toes that line, and as we've seen, he does cross it at times. Nashawn Wright, I mentioned the one he tipped up that Byard picked off, multiple pass breakups today. Had a couple of near interceptions as well. I mean, he's really pushing for not only to be on this team, which I think he's on the right side of the bubble at this point, potentially to start, depending on how the next few weeks go. So I wonder if he and Tyreek and Terrell Smith are among the few starters or guys competing to start that will play on Sunday. That's definitely something to watch. I thought a Dolphins reporter put it well. I think it was Omar Kelly or Joe Shad who had this. Can't remember. It was one of those two. One of them said, anyone who tells you the Dolphins offense had a good day today, that is completely false. The Bears took it to him. And he also said the Bears defensive backs' physicality rerouted wide receivers' routes several times, which would lead to ugly incompletions, just throws where the receiver's just not there. And we know a big part of Tua's game is timing and anticipation, and that's the advantage of playing press man. If you play a team like that against a quarterback that isn't necessarily mobile and relies on timing and anticipation, that's where being physical at the point of attack can really help. Because if you can get them off their spot, the ball and the receiver are not going to be synced up to where they're supposed to be. So Dennis Allen bringing in this press man scheme, this aggressive mindset and nature is a really, really good thing for this defense. And I think early in the year, especially, this team is going to be able to challenge opponents defensively, and they're going to need to. Because again, week one against Brian Flores, I don't expect. I know Caleb had a really good game at home against Flores last year. In this new scheme, week one, I'm not expecting him to go put up 30 points. I mean, it could come down to a defensive slugfest, and Dennis Allen is going to have to match punch for punch with Brian Flores. And today it showed that they could certainly do that. And that was just kind of the theme. They physically overwhelmed Miami. And that's a good sign. The Dolphins O line isn't that great, especially from a pass pro standpoint. I saw at one point Austin Booker trucked their starting left tackle, Patrick Paul. So Dominic Robinson, by the way, second day in a row where he had a couple positive moments. Maybe he's finally starting to turn the corner here. We'll see. But yeah, it's exciting to think about what this defense can do. Now, there was a little scare at one point. Andrew Billings limped off, but in the next period he returned, so that was good. Montez Sweat had a sag. It's just these guys are just flying around. Guys are flying around. This defense, I think, has a chance to be really, really good and could be great if another pass rusher emerges, which is obviously something to monitor. Okay, some injury notes, and then we'll keep going here. Darnell Wright, Kyler Gordon both left practice yesterday. Wright was out there, full pads, full go. Kyler Gordon, Ben Johnson said before practice he was TBD to practice today. Didn't end up throwing the pads on, doing team stuff, but he did work off to the side, so I think he's fine overall, and it was good to see Darnell out there, obviously. Guys who did not practice, obviously Jalen Johnson, who's been out, Karan Amagaji, Zay Frazier, who's away from the team right now, Shamar Turner with that ankle, and then Doug Kramer and Roshan Johnson also did not practice. As far as Sunday goes, the preseason opener, Ben Johnson announced on Hogan Johns, then later in his press conference today, that Caleb Williams and most starters on offense and defense will not play against Miami. His reasoning was that they're actually going to get more, not just more total reps, but more valuable reps before and after the game. So, like in this joint practice today, the ones got the majority of the work. Some of the starters will also do a practice on Monday, whereas the twos and the threes will play the primary bulk of the game on Sunday. So they feel good about that. I'm conflicted. I see both sides of it. I would like to see Caleb play specifically, not even because I care how he looks or what stats are or whatever, but just like the operation, because we've seen that be an issue as he's learning a new offense, and which is to be expected to an extent. So I'd like to see him just like, you know, get the call in the headset in front of 70,000, you know, communicate the play, get to the line, make audible to a second play, just kind of do some procedural things that you can't really fully simulate in a practice setting. Ben did say that he expects at some point the starters will play in the preseason. My guess is for sure they'll probably play some against Kansas City, TBD against Buffalo, because they also have a joint practice against the Bills. So maybe you go same plan next week, and then maybe you play them a quarter against Kansas City. I'm not sure. So we'll see where that goes. I think it's one of those, like, I trust in Ben. I don't think this stuff makes or breaks a team. But I do think when you're learning a new offense, there is value in just going out there in a game setting and just doing the basics, getting lined up, calling the play, doing the cadence at the line of scrimmage. Because once Monday, September 8th gets there, that it's the real deal, and every mistake counts and every good play counts. So, I'm not throwing a fit about it. I'd like to see him play. I think he will at some point. So we'll see where that goes. He did say that Ozzie Trapillo and Braxton Jones will play as that left tackle competition is ongoing. Okay, let's talk a little stadium. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Kevin Warren did announce that the Bears have made progress on the stadium project in Arlington Heights, which doesn't sound that much different from last time, but says there's weekly conversations happening and that the sole focus remains on that property. Like staying in the city at this point, less than 1%, that's kind of where that feels at this point in time. George McCaskey was asked about it, and he said that in terms of the stadium project and convincing the city that they're, to acquire that tax certainty that they're looking for. He said, quote, "It's on us to convince the governor and the state legislators that this is a good idea for the people of Illinois. We need to do a better job at that." I don't know if that was a jab at Kevin Warren or what, but he's not exactly blaming the politicians. He's saying, "Hey, we need to do a better job. We need to convince people that this is good for Illinois residents." So, you know, it's jumping through hoops. It's not easy. Kevin still maintains that he expects a shovel in the ground this year. Well, we got the rest of August, September, October, November, and December. We have less than 5 months, so the clock is ticking. But I'm focused on the here. I'm focused on the now. And the Bears, for the most part, good joint practice. Defense looks great. And I tweeted this out. Defense stock up, offense up and down. That's kind of where things sit right now. I think the offense has improved from day 1 to day 13, whatever it is, but certainly still a decent ways to go. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We will be back soon with more content. We have a video going out tomorrow morning, and then might do a little preview. I'll be back home tomorrow afternoon. Might do a little preview, just some thoughts on the guys who will be playing on Sunday for that matchup. So be on the lookout for that. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys soon. Bear down.